my fellow weirdos, welcome back to my channel. I'm sure you're wondering, Marie, why are you dressed like you're about to go to some kind of party or something? Well, in a way I am. I'm going to a booktube party. Yay! Not an actual one because I'm a sad book nerd who spends most of my nights reading books, but I wanted to honour the front cover of this gorgeous book because I realised that I do actually have a dress that's quite similar to the front cover, and I thought, you know, any excuse to dress up, particularly during these weird times where we don't actually get to go anywhere. Yeah, so party of one, just me, two if you include this wonderful read. That's the book I'll be reviewing for you guys today, Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Oh my god, I love this book. Okay, so you guys are going to know by now that I have a bit of an obsession with Gothic literature, with the Gothic classics, with anything haunted house related, anything with a spooky house, I'm sold. And this has all of that in it. Set in Mexico, we have our lead character called Noemi. I'm hoping that's how you pronounce her name. Noemi. I said Noemi the whole time in my head, so I'm hoping that's right. Anyway, she is dispatched by her father to go and check on her cousin. Her cousin had a very quick and not necessarily approved of marriage to a man who is of grand standing but doesn't have the hugest amount of money, and she's been whisked away to his estate. A man by the name of Virgil. Catalina is the cousin, and Catalina has sent a letter that has disturbed Nomi's father. In the letter she raves about hearing voices, whispering in the walls, that someone's trying to kill her. It reads like someone who definitely needs some kind of psychiatric help, and he asks Noemi to go to speak to Virgil, her husband, and the rest of the family and try and convince them to let Catalina come back to Mexico City to get, you know, psychiatric help, a proper doctor, because they're out in the sticks. So that's what she does. She goes and discovers that Catalina has married into a very English family. They moved a long time ago, but they brought a little slice of England with them. They built a very English style manor house, filled it with English furnishings, English tastes, English silver, because that's where their money originally came from before it dried up, the silver mine. And the family are super, super, super English, despite the fact that they've lived there for a couple of generations. They are blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pale-skinned, and they have all the airs and graces of your stuffy English sort of upper class family of brooding. And she starts off, you know, thinking she's going in there to try to get Catalina just some medical assistance, but realizes early on that there is an awful lot more going on than meets the eye. And soon she starts to feel the effects of being at the house, which is called High Place. The house has an effect on her. She starts to have nightmares, bad dreams. She starts to see things, feel things. And it's obvious from the family and the way that they behave and their very strict rules that something is going on here, and that they know fine well what's going on, and that they're maybe doing something to Catalina, or that the house is doing something to Catalina. Either way, Naomi tries to find out what's going on, and then she kind of ends up getting dragged into what's happening. I don't want to spoil it. But that's your kind of basic storyline. It's a 5 out of 5 for me all day long. All of the best elements of classic Gothic tales and literature is in this book. You have the misty, foggy weather and the thunderstorms and rain. You've got the big, old, creaky, dusty, dilapidated mansion full of secrets. You have the servants and the family who just aren't right. Something's wrong. They know something, but they're not telling. You've got the, like, head of the household, the who clearly is hiding something. You have a cemetery. You have legends and myths surrounding the area, a curse, according to local people, placed on that particular house and the family within it. all of the wonderful Gothic elements. It's set in the 50s, so it is a much more modern take on your kind of classic Gothic horror, but not obviously modern day. What I loved about this was the way that they have taken what is an incredibly English setting, think Crimson Peak essentially, and then they have plopped that just in the middle of Mexico. So Nomi and her family and her lifestyle, her brightly coloured extravagant dresses, the parties, the champagne, the laughter and music, living in Mexico City where all of the buildings are painted all different bright colours, where it's just laughter and music and something happening all the time and parties. This vibrant life that she leads and in this vibrant Mexican culture is so starkly opposing and opposite to the Doyle family and the Doyle household up in High Place. And by creating that juxtaposition, by showing you the bright colours and the vibrancy and Nomi's sort of flirtatious and vibrant and fun and vivacious personality and youth, and then contrasting it with the Doyles who refuse flat out to speak during meals, who say that the sound carries so well in the house and you have to basically whisper constantly, who don't have electricity put in properly, so everything is by candlelight, by oil lamps. Everything is dilapidated, falling apart, covered in mould. The house is damp and dreary. And by having it in that setting, it just emphasized all of the kind of dilapidation, all of the Gothic elements, all of those things, the rotting, festering walls of this property and the family inside it. It just emphasized it. It made it even more stark against what it could be, because Nomi is an example of a wealthy family from Mexico and how they live their life versus how the Doyles live theirs. And the families, I suppose, in a way have something in common. I mean, Nomi's father cares very much about breeding. He wants to make sure that his daughter marries well, and he wanted the same for his niece Catalina. So when Catalina was flirting with, engaged to a gentleman that Nomi's father did not approve of, he chased him away. So Catalina almost learned from that. So the second time with Virgil Doyle, she hid it until it was basically, there was nothing that Nomi and her family could do about it. The wedding was going ahead. Otherwise there would have been a big scandal. And it's all about avoiding scandal, avoiding gossip. That's why he quietly asks Nomi to go and try and sort it out. They don't want the scandal of a divorce or whatever else happening, of Catalina losing her mind and doing X, Y, or Z. So appearances, family, breeding, money, propriety, place in society, all those things are important to Nomi's family as well. And that's something that they have very much in common with the Doyles, because they are a family who thinks that breeding is important, that you don't marry below your station, and actions were taken by that family when somebody in the family tried to do something there as well. A little bit more extreme, but they have the exact same mentality, but they take it to a whole other level. So again, Silvia is really great at showing, you know, here's a wealthy family, here's a wealthy family. They both have this in common. Look at how they do it, and look at how they do it. And the poisoning, awful, fetid, gross way that this family is going about it. And again, it just creates this wonderful, like, emphasizing juxtaposition to it. It's just a really great way of taking something that makes you go, ugh, and then making it even more stark so that it makes your skin literally crawl. This is basically Crimson Peak set in Mexico. It has your classic House on the Moor, ghostly love story vibes like Wuthering Heights, Jane Eyre. And then it has the more traditional Gothic ghost story elements like The Turn of the Screw. Crimson Peak would be a great modern example. The Haunting of Hill House, We Have Always Lived in the Castle, anything Shirley Jackson basically. This has all of those vibes in a new setting, done in a new way. I loved it from the very beginning to the very end. I read it in a couple of days because I could not put it down, and I was desperate to know how it happened. I had an idea in my mind of how I wanted it to end, and I was like, will it end the way that I want it to? You know, when you're written for characters and you're like, God damn it, if that character dies. I'm not going to tell you if I got my wish or not, but either way, it's oh, such a good read, honestly. So if you're a fan of traditional Gothic horror, if you are a fan of Crimson Peak, if you're a fan of Shirley Jackson, this is a must read for you, trust me. I've seen some reviews which are really strange to me because there are people complaining that it wasn't like Mexican enough or something, like there wasn't enough about the Mexican culture in it and all, but like it's not about it's not about the Mexican, it's not a story like an in-depth story about, you know, Mexican beliefs and Mexican culture. It's not frickin' Coco or something. If you read the synopsis, it is your bog standard awesome Gothic ghost story, but with a new twist. So you find out just as much about the main character and her lifestyle and culture and society as you would if this was set in England and it was an English character, or it was set in Ireland and it was an Irish character, or it was set wherever else. So I'm confused by why people were expecting this to be some kind of encyclopedia of Mexican culture. I don't know. So if that's what you're looking for, no, this isn't for you. This is just a really, this is a new classic as far as I'm concerned. I feel like this book perfectly emulates the Gothic books of old, but manages to make it, Silvia, she makes it all her own. She carves a brand new niche for herself and sets it apart at the same time, which is really hard to do. Really hard to do. You know, to capture all of the wonderfulness and all of the dark Gothic essence of those traditional classics, but to then keep it your own, to keep it modern, to keep it different and fresh. That is a sign of an exceptional writer. I would love to read more of Silvia Moreno Garcia, but I believe that she's written mostly fantasy apart from this. I'll have to look into it, but I'm not the hugest fantasy fan, so I don't know. Please write more horror. Please write more horror, because I just want this over and over and over and over again. Also, if this doesn't get made into a movie or a Netflix series or something, I'm going to be bloody gutted, because it would make the coolest show, preferably by the writer / director of The Haunting of Hill House. They would do something great with this. Oh yeah, something. It is spooky, it is creepy, it is Gothic, it is perfect. Read it, read it, read it. End of the recommendation. Can you tell that I liked it? Anyway, so 5 out of 5, that's my review. Have you read the book? What did you guys think? Put it in the comments down below. If you're going to be getting it based on this review, let me know, because I always love that if my recommendations get picked up. And that's it, guys. If you could subscribe to my channel, I would so appreciate it. Give me a little like and hit the bell button so that you get a notification every time I post a new video and you never miss out on this wonderful content. And that's me for now, guys. I'm off to my Gothic mansion to try to work out what all the whispering is on the walls. Wish me